Hello. It is so nice to see you here today. I'm Amanda Mae Gray, host of the Yes You May podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about a method that I recently figured out that I use that helps me achieve various goals. Literally, anything I decide I want to do, it helps me on the journey to get there. Now, clearly, there are still a lot of things I'm trying to figure out myself, and I still have a lot of dreams that haven't fully actualized. But I was recently on a coaching call where I was asked, what are some of my past accomplishments? And they knew that I have modeled in the past and that I've done beauty pageants and done runway, in addition to being in sales and, lots of other things. But my coach asked me, how did you accomplish those things? How did you get involved in those things? What was your process? What did you do differently? And I didn't really have a good answer at first. I was like, I have ADHD. I get bored of things very, very easily. I need something new all the time. I accomplish something and then I move on to the next thing because I'm bored with it. So I've tried all sorts of different things throughout my life. And one of my biggest frustrations is this concept that you have to come up with one thing that you're passionate about and that's what you do, which has been just bugging the crap out of me lately. But it came up that I had been in Vogue Italia. And to me, it wasn't like it's cool. I think it's awesome. But I know the backstory. And he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You've been in Vogue Italia. And I was like, yeah. He's like, that's huge. And I was like, well, I don't think it's that big of a deal. He's like, no, it's a huge deal. And it came up because he asked me, what's something that when you got the news about it, it kind of took you back and it was really exciting? And that was my answer. And he's like, how on earth did you get there? We think that's really cool. What did you do to be able to accomplish that? You didn't just decide I'm going to be in this and it's going to happen. And I was like, okay. He's like, there is something in your process. There is something that you do that allows you to start to achieve things, to start to go down the path towards things, to accomplish things that other people think are crazy. And I thought about it for a few days and then it hit me. I woke up literally before my alarm, which is like not a thing because I love sleeping. Okay, I love sleeping. I think sleeping is fabulous. But I woke up one morning and I was like, I raised my hand. That's what I do. I get involved. I offer to do things. I ask questions. I gain clarity. I raise my hand and say, I'll do it. I raise my hand and I ask, do you mean this? I don't think I understand. I raise my hand and I put myself out there to say yes to random things that don't always seem like they're going to get me to where I'm going. And one thing I have definitely learned is that often the path, well, heck, always, the path to get to where you want to go is not linear and it is not as obvious as what Hollywood would make you believe it is. So let's go back to Vogue Italia. And I want to tell you the story how this occurred and what I did and why this concept of raise your hand, get involved, ask questions, gain clarity, and offer to do things is really the big trick and the big secret to starting to gain momentum. So, this is the photo. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you actually can't see it super well. There we go. It's the Vogue Italia website from, oh gosh, I don't even, 2002. 2002. And it says Ashley Holloway's portfolio. Underneath it, there is an image of, well, it's me, in a gown with seashell top and this amazing magenta bodice that flows out into the water, and you don't see my legs. And I'm just floating on top of the water like a mermaid. It's an amazing image, and one that I had no idea was going to get submitted to Vogue. No idea. And this happened because I started modeling back in high school because somebody asked me at the prom in sophomore year when I went with like a junior or a senior, and the photographer was like, "You're really photogenic. Can I take photos of you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course." Right. And then, God, I guess this would have been 8 years later when this photo came out. I was down in Florida and I wanted to get involved in the modeling world more and the beauty pageant world. So I started to search for different opportunities, searched Facebook for different groups, started networking, started offering to do free photo shoots and be the model in those photo shoots. And I made friends with this designer. His name was Ricky Lindsay. And he and I had met at a fashion show that I was just walking for free at. Nothing crazy. He was an up and coming designer. I was just a model that was tall enough and skinny enough to fit the bill of what they were looking for. And so I was cast. And he and I hit it off. So we ended up doing a couple of photo shoots together, actually, quite a few over the years. And he specifically, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years later, came up with this mermaid concept that he made this dress with me in mind. We had done one photo shoot out on the beach with it, so, the shells and everything with one photographer, and those were pretty cool, but it wasn't exactly what he was thinking, and so then he found this other photographer, Ashley, who, we went to her family home that had a pool, did some photos, by a fountain, and then, on the landscape, by the pool, and then they were like, "What if we got you in the pool as if you were just floating there?" Right? So, I've got my hair and makeup done. I'm in this dress, and if you're a female, you might know if you've got a tight dress that goes down below your knees, the tightness, it's hard to walk in. Never mind mess around in a pool. And the fabric got really wet and heavy, so we didn't have a lot of time. So, the photographer is up on the deck of the pool shooting down as I just happen to lean back and let myself be taken by the water and try to prop up. And in my attempts to stay afloat, the dress sprawls out in the water and she captures the shot. Then, about, I don't know, a couple months later, I think, she tags me in this post that she had submitted the photo to the Vogue Italia website for photographer spotlights. And we got accepted 'cause it's a pretty cool photo. I will admit she did an amazing job, and the dress is amazing, and the color dynamics. It's really not obvious that I'm just hanging out in the pool. And it wasn't even like a bright sunny day. It was a little bit overcast. But when I got that call, I was just like, "Whoa, that's amazing." I never had the confidence to feel like I was good enough to fully pursue modeling. But I dabbled and felt like it was just something I enjoyed and wanted to do. So despite the fact that I will tell you honestly, I've not really gotten paid a lot for modeling. I've done a lot of free photo shoots, a lot of free one-night work. I kept saying yes. I kept raising my hand and offering to go do things and being a student rather than a know-it-all. And because I kept putting myself up there, I kept raising my hand for myself, saying, "I'll do it. I'm available. Let me try. I'm willing to work. I'm willing to learn. I don't know everything, but I'm available. I would love to do it." Because I raised my hand and said and put myself out there, I ended up in a position where I didn't ever think I would be. And one thing led to another. You don't know where things are going to end up. And you really don't know how an opportunity is going to play out. But if you never raise your hand and put yourself out there, ask questions, get involved, volunteer, then you won't be able to reap the rewards that the trail will lead you on. I've done this with various other things. With starting this podcast, I had the idea, oh, I want to start the podcast, but I drag my feet. All right. I did. And some weeks it's harder than another. Last week I didn't end up putting out an episode. I didn't feel well. I had some hospital stuff I had to work with, but I still struggle to feel good enough to put myself out there, to say yes to myself, to believe that I can do something. But when I get in those moments, I try to remember that if I don't take action, then I'm not going to see any rewards. Laying in bed all day, nothing's going to happen. If you don't post something, nothing can happen. If you don't put yourself out there, offer to do things, get involved, ask questions, be the student, then things aren't going to keep moving forward for you. So start raising your hand in your own life. Start saying, I'll do it. I'd like to try. Start asking questions. Be the active participant. Heck, find a small pond so you can be the big fish to gain that confidence and keep growing. But keep doing and keep pushing your boundaries and keep raising your hand to say yes to yourself so that you can find opportunities that will propel you forward in ways you never thought imaginable. I had no idea I would end up in Vogue Italia on the website. But if I'd never said yes that first time modeling, it would never led me down that journey in the first place. What have you been holding back on that you want to learn more about? That you have this opportunity to get coached, maybe, or uh, to give a speech, or to be the person who gets involved. Because being shy And never putting yourself out there, never raising your hand will never get you to where you want to really go because other people won't be able to see something you don't show. I want you to think today about something that you've been unsure, been struggling with, been wanting to do, but really didn't know where to start. Find other people that are doing it and ask for advice, ask for help. Raise your hand. I hope this was valuable for you. If you found this valuable, if you have been learning and come along the journey with me, I aim to bring you useful, helpful content every week that'll help propel you and move you forward, to motivate you, to give you tools, and to bring other people on that help inspire you to lift you up and start going after what you want. Will you show up and take a little time each week to listen in and learn for yourself if I've given you some value as well? I commit to being there every week and delivering value. Will you commit to yourself, to raising your hand, and saying, yes, I may? And if this is something you think that could help somebody else, please comment, share, tag, send it to them, and give them that little nudge to push them along their journey. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.